Hello, my lovelies! Ginny O here, the author with no last name. And this is Ginny O Reviews, the part of the channel where I review an indie science fiction or fantasy book, trying to answer the questions, did I like this book, and why? This week, I'm reviewing Shockwave by Lindsay Buroker, a science fiction space opera? You can find Lindsay on Twitter at Goblin Writer or on her website, lindsayburoker.com. I follow Lindsay on Twitter, but I'm not sure we've actually ever spoken, so that makes us strangers. The good news is that she has a large backlog of books on Amazon if you like her writing styles, and many of them have the first books or the novellas for free. Shockwave is 99 cents, and I think I picked it up during a sale. She has space operas, urban fantasies, and even steampunk. Something for everyone? Alright, from the back of the book. What if being a hero was encoded in your genes, and nobody told you? Casimir Dabrowski would laugh if someone asked him that. After all, he had to build a robot to protect himself from bullies when he was in school. Fortunately, life is a little better these days. He's an accomplished robotics engineer, a respected professor, and he almost never gets picked on in the lunchroom. But his positive heroics are for other people. Until robot assassins stride onto campus and try to kill him. Forced to flee the work he loves and the only home he's ever known, Casimir catches the first ship into space, where he hopes to buy time to figure out who wants him dead, and why. If he can't, he'll never be able to return home. But soon, he finds himself entangled with bounty hunters, mercenaries, and pirates, including the most feared criminal in the Star Kingdom, Captain Tenebrious Rosh. Rosh could snap his spine with one cybernetically enhanced finger, but he may be the only person with the answer Casimir desperately needs. What in his genes is worth killing for? Let's get right into it, shall we? Did I like this book, and why? First off, before I answer that question, I'm going to peel back a little of my process here as a reader-reviewer. 9 times out of 10, I don't read the blurbs of these books before reading them. Mostly, I don't care. What I'm searching for as a reviewer are things like, is the book more than 160 pages? Is it indie published? And is it sci-fi or fantasy, or an unholy mix of the two that makes me excited? So, I didn't read the blurb of this book before I read the book. This blurb isn't accurate. In fact, I didn't get anything from that blurb in the story itself. When I finished the book, I had some very big questions that weren't answered, such as, what is the big outside plot arc, and why are they after the main character? I'm assuming the big bad robots he created. Because the main character was still unsure of why he was being hunted at the end of the book. The book needs a more accurate blurb, one that doesn't spoil the story before the main character figures it out. I thought the main character would learn more in the second book, and basically all my lingering questions were enticements for me to buy the second book and keep reading. Because I really, really want to keep reading. Because, my lovelies, this is a 5 ginger snap book. In fact, I wish it was longer so I could figure out exactly what was going on more. This book would have benefited from some, I don't know, villain scenes? The book presents to us the goofy engineer and his bacteriologist roommate with limited people skills who are forced into running as he's being attacked by robots he actually helped invent. They end up on the ship of a cynical female smuggler and her genetically modified enforcer, who, in a turn of bad luck, happen to land in the middle of King Yeager's plots to restore the Golden Rule to all 12 sectors of the populated galaxy. Now they all need to escape Odin and the system, if they can. Hijinks ensue, and oh right, there's a pirate, and the galaxy is on the verge or in the middle of a terrorist-style war. So, mostly I wanted some King Yeager or his enforcers type of scenes, or even a Star Wars scroll in the beginning, in the future, in a galaxy far, far away type of, please set the scene. Lindsay says on her website that she started out in fantasy writing, and there are plenty of nods to different fantasy things in the books that tickled me as a lover of both science fiction and fantasy. She also says that this is the Big Bang Theory meets Star Wars, so if you love either of those, there are some obvious parallels. The naive hero, the cranky smuggler, the furry sidekick, the robotic genius, the crusher robots who are nearly unstoppable, the Knights of Odin, or whatever they're called. I spent a lot of the book waiting for the plot to get started and to find out how the prologue and the characters presented us there were tied into what was going on with the engineer and the bacteriologist and the smuggler. Those questions weren't ever really answered. They were started to be answered, and then the book ended. When you introduce a character first, this makes people believe the character is important. In fact, in this book, you should probably just skip the prologue, and it could have been put someplace else where it actually is important, like when the Doctor becomes important. Despite this, I found the book to be funny and entertaining. The characters interact well with each other, and for the most part, all have something to contribute to the story. Yes, even the Doctor does something, but it's not a huge thing. The action scenes are intense and well written. I wanted the main characters to succeed and escape, and at the same time, I wasn't sure if they would. But not so much so I had to check the end of the book to make sure. I enjoyed what little world building I saw. Once again, this is me wishing the book was, maybe 100 pages longer so I could really get my teeth into the world and galaxy. But there are 6 or 7 books in the series, and if I get more money, I'll have to buy the rest and devour. My only concern going forward is that the characters in the book don't learn what's going on enough so the reader feels satisfied they're getting enough answers to the series questions to keep reading. If by the end of the 2nd book the main character is still unsure of why he's being attacked, or I don't understand the bigger overall stakes, I probably wouldn't continue. This is especially concerning because this is set up as a serial series, instead of something like my Heathens books that are standalone adventures set in a sequence. Mostly, I found the book to be highly entertaining with characters that I want to learn more about in a universe that is new enough that I want to explore it, but has enough nods to the fantasy and things I already know that it's cozy and comfortable. I did have, while reading the story, an amusing thought of, at this rate, character X and character Y are going to be spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. And I say spoiler because I was essentially correct. Which, given there was no foreshadowing to this at all, and was me pulling shit out of my ass, and I hadn't read the blurb or anything, I honestly didn't expect to be right. I mean, I'm amused. Other people might not be. Some people might think this is bad writing. Mostly, I've read too much, love certain properties too much, and I'm probably far too aware of the tropes. I'm not sure how much of a plot twist it was supposed to be, but I laughed instead of gasping. Oops. It didn't take away from the book for me. Anyways, if a space opera escape story with a few fantasy-style elements with a cast of fun characters sounds entertaining to you, check out Shockwave by Lindsay Buroker, available on Amazon. Link in the description below. Enjoy seeing me talk about books? Then please hit that like or subscribe button. And if there's a book you'd like me to review, leave me a comment with a buy link or go to my website, ginny0.wordpress.com. That's Ginny, the number 0.wordpress.com, and get in contact with me there. Speaking of my website, that's where you can find me and all the information about my character-driven werewolf science fantasy and fantasy books. You can also find me on Twitter at Ginny0. My books are available on Amazon and are enrolled in Kindle Unlimited. Next time, I hope to review another indie science fiction book. And then there's a fantasy book I want to review. See you in the next video, my lovelies.